Good evening, Wolves fans across the globe. It's Little Dan here, back with another match preview episode. And tonight's episode, I've got with me Tom, new member of the Wolves Fancast. Welcome to the show.
Nice to see you.
Cheltenham Wolves.
Absolutely.
And another special guest on the back of Libertines drummer Gary Powell last week. We've got Gary Stringer, lead singer of Reef. I'd say 90s band, but you've been going for so long now, you're just rocking all over the decades since the 90s.
It's hard to stop once you start, Dan.
It's like everything. There's always we all get addicted to one thing in life. Yours is music, I suppose.
I wish it was only just one.
Gary, for those that aren't aware of yourself and Reef, where did your connection to Wolves originate?
Well, firstly, I always answer this question by saying I don't need a reason for a start. But my old man, my dad, and his family grew up in Bilston. I was born in Staffordshire and then moved down to the West Country, as you can probably tell, when I was, 4. So I don't really remember much about Wolverhampton apart from Christmas parties, going to see my gran and my family. And then my dad started shouting, "Bring Bully on" in 1990. And I thought, what's going on here? And got into the Wolves.
Never looked back. Steve Bull, God to some, even bigger than God to many others. We've got Leicester this week, but just before we touch on that, Tom, what was your opinions on the win against Tottenham? I think after the defeat against Arsenal, it was quite doom and gloom around the fan base, but that's why we're the most bipolar fan base in the world, isn't it? One moment, the end is 9, and the next when Europe's back on.
Yeah, so I think going into the game, I was a bit lost, really. I didn't know whether, we would go in strong or not. I mean, often after the Norwich game, which I was at, which we didn't play badly at, but was just such a scrappy affair. And with Arsenal, which even with 20 minutes or so left to go, with them having 10 men, we couldn't get that equaliser. I really thought that Spurs, we could let ourselves down, but overall, I thought it was a fairly fair game. I thought both teams played well. I just think it was all down to defensive errors from Spurs. But at the end of the day, I think Raul Jimenez still had a lot to do when he took his goal. And then Donker really kind of some of the best passage of play that he'd had all season to get his goal as well. So those two individual moments were the difference in the end. And I think we defended well. Max Kilman, once again, shown why I think he's my player of the season, kind of came through. And overall, I think Spurs should be punished for those two mistakes. And I think 2-0 was a fair result.
What about you, Gary? Did you manage to catch any of the game on Sunday?
Yeah, well, the problem, there's two problems as I can see it for the last couple of games prior to Spurs. One, the manager of the month, you're scuppered immediately there, aren't you? And Wolves, in recent years, since they've had this Premier League break, they haven't done great after the break, have they? They always come back slow and sluggish. It takes them a game or two to get back into it. But yeah, Arsenal, you can see why the Arsenal game, I mean, the FA Cup, to go out of that is a blow to fans. Of course it is. But the Arsenal game, with so much riding on it, it just seemed we could have been there for a week and not scored a goal. I was in London at the time watching in a pub full of Arsenal. It wasn't pleasant, especially when I jumped up for the offside goal. But Spurs was, fantastic performance, absolutely wonderful. Having said that, Spurs were pretty shaky at the back, weren't they? Is it Sanchez at the back? Big fella at the back.
I think you can name all their defenders, Gary. They were as shaky as me after a week on the booze.
Quite. Yeah, and Lloris had an off day. So, but what you got to do in those situations is make the most of it, and we did, didn't we?
Yeah, I agree. It was so like when we saw that board go up in the first half, and we could see that a Spurs player was going to go off. My heart sunk, and I thought Doherty was the one to go off. And imagine that. I think that would have just been like the ultimate kind of anxiety dream for Matt Doherty. That signing for Spurs and then being subbed off against his old club 30 minutes in. It was one of those. It was an embarrassing first half performance for them.
Ouch.
It was great just to see, obviously, Wolves win, but the squad depth is coming together really nicely at the moment, isn't it? Obviously, we had Wangi, Chan and Johnny back on the bench against Tottenham, but we've also got Bolly Mosquera and Pedro Neto, who are sort of back into contact training at Wolves. How big a bonus are those three players going to be, Gary, once they're fully fit?
Well, it'd be interesting to see, won't it? I mean, let's see what Mosky can do. That'll be interesting. But you've got a lot of competition, haven't you? I mean, when Bolly is, sidelined, you're thinking, how's that going to play out? And we've had an absolutely fantastic season defensively with, obviously, with Cody and Kilman and Sace. So it's hard to see Bolly getting back in at the minute, isn't it? And I think as well, especially with Rui Patricio going, who was such a fabulous goalkeeper, to see Sarr come in, it's been incredible, hasn't it? Absolutely incredible. But yeah, obviously the folks that are out, I mean, we talked earlier, Tom talked earlier about Dendoncker. It's great to see him get that goal. But it's hard to come in and fill the shoes of Moutinho because there's nothing wrong with Donk. He gets the stick, but there's nothing wrong with him. But you look at Moutinho, what he's done. He's such a winner. He's such a fighter on that pitch. And that gets your attention as a fan, doesn't it? So, yeah, it'd be good to see the guys come back who've been injured, yeah.
I mean, Luke Cundle had an absolutely great full debut, didn't he, Tom? But if Moutinho's fit on Sundays, he's got to come back in, hasn't he? Because of what Gary said. Jean Moutinho would beat his own grandmother to win 5 pence. He's that competitive, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's the difference. And I've been speaking about that with a few of my friends who are fans as well, talking about potentially Europa League and, if results go our way, I mean, look, Champions League, that sounds ridiculous, but, who knows with football? And it's that question, isn't it? It's, would you rather want Moutinho, who's a serial winner, second, highest cap player for Portugal, who's got all of this experience, or Luke Cundle? And that's not me. That's not a slight on Luke Cundle. I thought he did brilliantly at Spurs, and obviously he is one for the future. And there's this conversation in the summer that I saw about actually Moutinho not getting a new contract and going elsewhere to try and reset. And there are arguments why that might be a good thing. But yeah, I think for the rest of this season, at least, who knows what happens to Moutinho in the summer, but he has to be picked. He has to play. And even if it's like his last hurrah, he's making a damn good job that he's playing the best football he's played in ages in this last hurrah for Wolves. So absolutely the most competitive player on the pitch, no matter who he's playing for. And an honourable mention to that right-footed outside of the foot goal against Brentford, which was just a touch class as well. Maybe Luke Cundle will do that one day, but at the moment, this is the man who's kind of tried and tested for us.
It would be the biggest football travesty in history if Jean Moutinho doesn't win some sort of silverware for Wolves. But I think if we can get into the Europa League again, I think that'd be a nice way for him to, cast off back into the sea if we can't get him to sign a new contract, because he is that influential, isn't he? We've got a comment from Solomon Yap. When Johnny and Neto are back, what is our strongest 11? Both with 3 and 2 up top. Is there a point for playing Johnny when we play 3 up top and Royan with a 2? Then where would Neto fit in? Can any of you take that on for me?
He's not going to play a 2 in a hurry, is he? I mean, I know everyone's saying, we want more goals. Of course we want more goals. We've scored hardly any, haven't we? Hardly any goals at all. It's
like prime AC Milan at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw a graphic the other day that put our defence in the top 5 or 6 in Europe or something. And that's been amazing. And that's, for modern football, that's how, you win games, you keep going, and you obviously got to score. But I don't know. Neto's got to come back in when he's fit, hasn't he? You've got to feed him in. What a player. I mean, that guy's the potential to be a world superstar. And am I mistaken, but didn't Cundle play in the front 3 when he come on the other day? Or am I making a mistake there? Didn't he come on for one of the front 3 players?
Yeah, it was more in like a number sort of 10, right? It was a bit more advanced than Nevers and well, to be honest, Dendoncker and Cundle were that sort of advanced. They were sort of in front of Jimenez at times. I think Cundle did have an opportunity in the Spurs game where he played Jimenez in and he jumped back into the box for a return which never came. But I think our midfield is so good at interchange at the moment that the reason why Jimenez isn't scoring the goals that we want him to is because he's playing a lot deeper than what we want him to be as fans. What do you think of that, Tom?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that I was thinking about this earlier. We're almost 3 players away. Like if we sign 3 players, we're there or thereabouts, really pushing for the Europa League and Champions League spots. I think if we sign 3 quality players, then our squad depth is nuts, really. But then at the same time, if we lose 3 players like we've lost previously last season with Johnny, etc., then that's when people might start to panic. But in regards to the question, in regards to formations and things like that, I tell you what, Johnny's been out for so long. Do you two not feel a little bit of a pang of kind of a Raul Jimenez thing of just, is he going to come back and be able to dominate that part of the pitch like he's done previously? It does feel like it's been a long, long time since we played a 90 minutes for Wolves.
Yeah, but I mean, Marcal keeps getting injured, doesn't he? So, you can see a spot there coming up for Johnny. And like Neto and all the players coming back from injury, they're obviously going to have to feed him in gentle, aren't they? But yeah, Johnny was epic, wasn't he? He was epic. And it seems like he's been gone forever, doesn't it?
He was, but then if you're Aït-Nouri, wouldn't you feel really put out if,
Well, I think Aït-Nouri's deserving of his place. I think the same with Semedo. I think, there's a lot, when you hear the moans, it's always, they're not great defensively. Our defence is fab. There's no problem with the defence. We need more attacking options. So, I was surprised that Marcal started against Arsenal. Did he? Did he start against Arsenal?
He did, yeah. He did, yeah.
I was surprised to see that because I think Aït-Nouri's super talented. But yeah, can't wait for Neto.
Ryan Aït-Nouri is going to be one of the best left backs in world football the more he matures and gains experience. Like Stu in the comments says, Ryan Aït-Nouri is one of the best fullbacks in Europe. The shirt is his to lose now. The thing that I'm really optimistic about Johnny is the fact that he can play right back or left back. So Keanu, however, probably hasn't really hit the ground running like we expected him to this season. So if Semedo does need a break or Aït-Nouri isn't firing all sinners, I think we've got a ready-made fullback there. It's just keeping him interested if he gets fully fit and he's not playing every week. That's my only concern when it comes to Johnny. It was announced today that Moutinho is welcoming back the England national side for fixtures against Italy and Hungary in the Nations League. The first fixture against Italy is behind closed doors due to UEFA sanctions. Guys, what does... Let me put it straight to you. What means more to you, Wolves or England?
Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Thank you, Tom. I'm putting you on the spot now, Gary. Join us.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say Wolves. I mean... when that international break comes round, come the end of the year, you're spitting a bit, aren't you? You've got into your season, you're enjoying it. And of course, everyone wants England to do well when it comes round to the competitions, Euros, World Cup, I'm right behind them. But yeah, you put Wolves first. Of course you do.
Club before. It's like, I totally agree with you, Gary. Every time there's an international break, when I'm straight into moaning mode. It really grates me. I've literally said numerous times now, we just need to draw a line in the sand with football. You tell footballers you're either going to be an international footballer or a club footballer, and then that's it. You can go and earn millions playing internationally every week, playing countries across the world. But at the end of the day, I reckon most football fans across the world would rather see their club side play every Saturday than watch their nation.
What I want to see is Max Kilman lining up with Connor Cody at Molineux for England. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
It'd be brilliant.
My eyes are looking towards Qatar. Max Kilman, Connor Cody, and John Stones in a 3-man centre back defence for England. I think that's the way forward. If Gareth Southgate's watching, I think he does watch, but I've never had it confirmed. This weekend we've got Leicester at home, 4:30 on Sky Sports. Leicester are due to play this evening against Rangers in the Europa League. What's your sort of feelings and your thoughts on how we'll line up? Last game, obviously, we started with Luke Cundle, Jimenez, Powders up front in a 2. Do you think we'll stay the same if Moutinho does return? Does he come straight back in for Moutinho, and does Aït-Nouri start again?
I think Moutinho has to come back in. I mean, who steps out? It probably will be unfairly Luke Cundle, I think, purely because Dendoncker proved to the fans on the weekends that he can do the business at times. I think that he's been a scapegoat at times in the past few weeks, and I still can't get past sometimes his physique. He's got this kind of ironing board type thing. The way he runs, it's just kind of a bit strange, but he still somehow seems to pull out the bag every now and then. But I think I would keep it the same. But Luke Cundle had a great game on the weekend, but I would take him out and put Moutinho in.
Yeah, I would imagine it's Luke Cundle to go. Having said that, I wonder if he'll go with a 3 up front because we're at home. It's the game we can get another 4-3 here, boys, can't we?
I wouldn't bet against it, Gary. Genuinely, I thought about this the other day, and I saw Leicester play against West Ham when they drew 2-2. That they are very shaky at the back. Obviously, losing Johnny Evans to injury this season has really stifled them. Their fullbacks have never really been consistent. I think James Justin got injured again on the weekend. The way that they set up, if you can tilt your heads, they played a 4-3-3 against West Ham. Obviously, Jamie Vardy's still out with injury. Yuri Tielemans is the man for me that I'm mostly concerned about. What about you guys in regards to Leicester?
Is his contract up, Tielemans, at Leicester? Do we know?
I think it's the end of next season, so they're pretty much similar to us with Adama, where they're trying to get the most amount of money for him this summer because apparently he's not going to sign a new contract.
Yeah, he's danger, man, and he's danger. I'd like to sign him, actually. Could be interesting.
Who's your danger man, Tom?
Yeah, I must admit it's Tielemans for me as well. When I looked at the highlights of their game on the weekend, he was the one who was riding up the crowd, trying to make things happen. And down that right-hand side with the inexperience of Cundle and Aït-Nouri, who's brilliant going forwards and might match him because he's such a great tackler. I think if I'm Bruno on the weekend, I'm saying to Aït-Nouri, you need to keep your eye on Tielemans and don't give him any room to do what he wants to do. Also, Maddison's had a great season. I think he's really gone under the radar this season. I think he's actually been excellent. And in another time when there are not such a huge amount of England midfielders to pick from, he could be there playing for England, regularly. So, you can never underestimate him, really. In regards to their defence, I agree. It's super shaky. Sonchu's not done nearly as well as I think he's done in previous seasons. But at the same time, Jimenez is one of those strikers who's not done as well as previous seasons, but that can't be helped with his injury. So
Schmeichel's got to be one of their superstars, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that I remember watching us play against Leicester before, and he's been able to pick out some mad saves, and we're going to have to produce something really, really special to get to win by a comfortable margin. But yeah, overall, I don't think that they could be underestimated. They were crap against Notts Forest, and I watched that game, but I don't really know what happened there. But I think they'll come flying out of the blocks, and it is always a good Premier League match against Leicester, as we already know, with the 4-3 a few years ago.
Yeah, those first few games of the season, I think Leicester was first, wasn't it? And, they had one good move and scored that goal, didn't they? And that set the pattern.
Yeah.
Spurs with Dele Alli and his fall to the ground was annoying. And then Man U. So, you look at those for the first 5 games of the Premier League season, we lost 4, hadn't we?
Yeah, was it
3 of them 1-0, 1 of them 2-0.
Was it Dendoncker? Was it Dendoncker who gave away the penalty against Leicester, or was it a VAR thing or something like that?
I thought they'd done a bit of skill up the right and banged the ball in the box, didn't they? Or no?
Jamie Vardy scored with a header, didn't he? Because he did the hell in front of the Wolves fans. It's Ricardo Pereira did, Marcel and I think a midfielder put the ball in. It's just, you can't knock Jamie Vardy. I don't want to blow smoke up his arse too much, but he's a modern day Steve Bull for me.
Yeah,
acceleration, just first time shots, knows where the goal is, instinctive to where he needs to be in the box. And that goal that day, literally just stood in front of, got in front of Conor Cody, just headed it past Saar. I think we absolutely battered Leicester that game. I think we had something like 17 shots. Adama missed a one-on-one. I think Kilman missed a good chance towards the end. So hopefully we can get one over them today. On Sunday. Brendan Rodgers at the moment is currently 2-1 to be the next manager to be sacked with Oddschecker. He has been a bit hit and miss. I'm not sure whether The Europa League has stifled them this season. There has been a lot of talk of him being the next Man United manager. What do you think of Brendan Rodgers? What's your thoughts on Brendan Rodgers as a personality before a coach?
He's a big personality in football, isn't he? I mean, I thought he'd done ever so well at Liverpool. And I think he's, if you look at his stats, not that I've studied him, I'm sure they look pretty good across the board for his career, don't they? I think he's strong. I think he's calm. Quite what's going on with Leicester, to be honest, I'm not following him enough to know. But yeah, Brendan Rodgers, I think he's a fabulous manager, but that don't always count, does it? It's about those results on the board, and you get 6 or 7, you're going to be, going the wrong way. Then you're going to be on the dartboard looking to be matched up, aren't you? You're going to be gone. So, yeah.
Yeah,
What's your thoughts on Brendan Rodgers, Tom? Do you think he could be the next Man United manager with his Liverpool connections?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's one of those, isn't it? Would it be another Rafa Benitez type thing? I don't think so, because, of that situation with Benitez at Liverpool winning so much and so close to, geographically so close, those two teams. But with Rodgers, I wouldn't be shocked if he goes either in the soon or at the end of the season. I think he's done brilliant at Leicester. I think he's been able to steady a quite strange ship after winning the Premier League, which is still mad to think that happened. I think he's done well to consolidate them as a team which are up there, because I don't think anyone in their right mind thought that they would go on to win the Premier League again and again and again. And I think he was the right man for the job to get the best out of the players and consolidate them as a team that are in there in the top 8 or whatever it is. But yeah, if you look at where they are in the table now, it's definitely a drop. And as we know, the culture of football today, the first person to go is the manager, and ultimately it is the players, and that's the way I think. But you can't get rid of the players; it's the manager that has to go. Who will come in and take over? That's another question. But if he goes to United, I wouldn't be shocked. I think that's a pretty solid appointment, and I think if I'm a Man United fan now, I'm probably pulling my hair out. I'll take anyone right now that's remotely familiar, rather than a wanky German football director, whatever that means. I would be wanting to get someone familiar who knows the Premier League, who has been up there, nearly won the Premier League before, knows how the league works. So if I'm a United fan, then Brendan Rodgers looks fairly appealing right now.
What's your thoughts on Man United, Gary? Do you dislike them? Got nothing towards them? What glory?
I haven't got any major feelings for them one way or other. We've done pretty good against them in the last 3 or 4 years, haven't we? Really?
Yeah. It would be good for them to be knocked off their perch and sort of.
It's doable. It's totally doable. I know, like you mentioned earlier. Even if we got a point in that, ifs and buts in it, but even if we got a point against Arsenal after it being such a drab game for us with so little going on, we'd still have been bouncing along, wouldn't we? But, that's been the difference this season 3 or 4 or 5 times, just losing by a goal, not scoring enough, obviously. But, Man United, good luck to them. But we can easily. Not easily, of course not, but we can get ahead of them. I think we've got games in hand over them at the minute, have we? Game or 2 in hand, at least one, isn't it? Against United. But yeah,
Man United, we've got games in hand here. We've got 2 games in hand on West Ham. Let's have a quick look at the league table and the fixtures for game week 26. The top half of the league table will appear in a second. I just thought I'd just put it up to show Aston Villa languishing in 12th. Before it changes. Any fixtures there that take your eye in regard, apart from obviously Wolves, Leicester on Sunday?
I think Leeds, Man United would be excited. That's a good day of football there, isn't it? Leeds will just have a right old go at United, won't they?
Yeah, I agree. I think that looks like a great fixture. But going back to United, I think, and this is something I think, we obviously, all 3 of us as Wolves fans, we know how well we can play as a football team. And that's when we lost to Leicester earlier in the year, and when we lose to Norwich in the FA Cup, we think that's frustrating because we know we can do better. In recent years in the Premier League, I don't know if you two agree, but we always see Wolves at the top of their game against Man United. I don't know if you agree with that, but the Wolves that we know and love, like this Premier League Wolves, this Wolves that we know in the past few years, they show all of those great positive qualities as a squad against United. I don't know if you feel the same.
I think Wolves have, done well in the last 3 seasons against, the top 6 full stop, haven't they? It suits
Agreed.
the compact, modern football that Wolves play. It's and we've done real well. It's the physical sides that have, popped our balloon, isn't it? It's it's Burnley and people who want to bump into you. But the other fixture I was going to mention from the weekend that could help us out, West Ham Newcastle. I mean, thank God, Newcastle have won a game or 2 in the last 3 or 4.
I think they've won 3 on the bounce now. Newcastle, it must be 3? Like living in a different world for Newcastle fans at the moment.
So, we want them to do us a favour, really, not West Ham. That's doable. 12:30 Saturday, isn't it?
That's it. You never bet on the early kickoff as well.
Yeah, no, I would put money on a Newcastle win for that one. To be fair, I mean West Ham, they've been playing well. They've been carried by Bowen and Rice really recently, and they're a great squad. They've had a great season, but I just think whatever's going on in that camp at the moment is wow. I would like to be playing West Ham right now, personally, if I'm Newcastle. I think Newcastle, they could do him there. I know it's away from home, but they could do it.
Trippier's a good signing, isn't it?
Cracking signing.
Until he got himself injured, probably out for the rest of the season last week.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, fractured his foot. Gary, look at the league table there. 2 games in hand on Man United, 6 points behind. 2 games in hand behind West Ham, 4 points behind. It's exciting times, but it's always the hope that kills you, isn't it, when it comes to Wolves?
Oh, mate, tell me about it.
Hey, what have we got to lose, lads? What have we got to lose? It's not, it's not 2003 with, Kevin Doyle fighting for everything, one up front. That's what we've got to keep telling ourselves, isn't it?
No, yeah, we've got more players, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be up there, like going for it, really. But as Dan rightly says, mate, I'm the same as you. That kind of pessimism is still kind of subconsciously in the back of my mind. The amount of times I've got in the car or got on the train to watch us play, whoever it is in League One or the Championship, and I turn to my mate and say, "Wow, we don't get battered too much." But that's going to be a hard thing to shift. But let's believe. Let's see what happens.
Do you still get taken aback, Gary, when people spot you? Because we've got a message here from KC Wolf. Saw Gary away at Forest away. Not sure what year, but it was a drab 0-0. Michael Branch was centre forward.
Michael Branch, Jesus, yeah. I think I had posh tickets to that game. I thought I had posh tickets to that game, but I might. Yeah, no, I mean I have a couple of photos, but mostly football fans don't pester you. Not that it's a pester if someone asks for a photo. I'm not saying that, but I see Bob Plant in the Steve Bull, but I ain't going to go up to him and, start headbanging. You're there to watch the match, aren't you, really? And
play us a song, Bob.
Yeah. Yeah. But, right on. Yeah. Forest away, I can remember. Yeah.
So, obviously, Leicester on Sunday. Ed Marshall in the comments. Need 3 points in this game, or would we take 1? I think if we've got any aspirations to finish in those Europa places, or that godforsaken place of the top 4. We've got to be winning Sunday, haven't we?
I agree, Dan. Yeah, you've got 3 points or bust, mate. I think 1 point right now, the way I'm thinking about it is as good as 0. I think we need to go all out, try and get the 3 points, because not saying that our season is quote unquote over if we don't win against Leicester, but if we do win against Leicester, then we've still got that kind of excitement and it's still all to play for. It's definitely would be a step back if we don't.
I think we've got to beat Leicester, Arsenal, and West Ham. I think we've got to go. If you ain't turning up for 3 points, you may as well stop home and make a cup of cocoa, ain't you? I mean, you've got to go for 3 points.
I think if we were to get something like 6 points out those next 3 games, I think the momentum will take us at least to a 5th or 6th position. But I know I was talking about the hope that kills you, but there's something inside me that says we can finish 4th this season. I don't know what it is. I think it's purely because there isn't a team putting a marker on that 4th place. I've been saying it for weeks now. Man United are struggling. Tottenham can't defend. West Ham tripping up at the moment. They've still got their eyes on the Europa League. And then you're looking at sort of Leicester and who else we got chasing us for those places.
It's Arsenal and West Ham, isn't it, next?
Yeah, so that Arsenal game next week is absolutely huge. And you can see why they celebrated the way they did at Molineux after the win. But hopefully we can get one over them next week on Thursday.
Where's Neto at? You mentioned Neto earlier about coming back. Where's he at? Is he eligible to play in the next week or two? What's the situation, Dan?
They were saying on social media today he's probably going to be a March return. He's back in contact training, so he's not far off. But I think with the injury that he had, it's probably a bit too soon. I think March was always going to be the sort of the marker when we announced he had a setback in November time. Just looking at those fixtures, guys. I'll come to you first, Tom. Forget Wolves, Leicester. Pick me 3 teams that are going to get a win if you were to have a friendly bet with one of the bookies outlets out there.
Liverpool, 100%. Liverpool will definitely be beating Norwich. I think that City will be beating Spurs. And then other than that, I'm looking at that. I don't want to say Villa will win against Watford because no one wants Villa to win. And then everything else looks like it's fair game. Chelsea to win against Crystal Palace away from home is probably my 3rd bet that I would have. But if you look at the rest of the fixtures, Southampton and Everton. Southampton, I actually think, I dislike Southampton purely because growing up, I used to watch Wolves get spanked by Southampton back in the day. I think there was when we lost 5-0 a few years ago, Southampton, which was awful. But Southampton against Everton, Lampard seems to be doing something with that team, so who knows which way that will go.
Brighton could win, I think.
Yeah, Brighton could win. They could indeed. I think that the Brighton-Burnley game, Burnley are kind of trying to knock on the door. They've got that new striker. What's that chavi's name? That new striker. Yeah, he seems to be doing bits and bobs, doesn't he? But yeah, I think Brighton will win that. But overall, if I had to put 3 bets on, I think it would be Liverpool to win against Norwich, Man City to win against Spurs, and Chelsea to win against Palace. What
about you, Gary?
Yeah, you could add Arsenal. Man City have been away, and Spurs were so poor, weren't they, against us? You would imagine Man City would win that. Yeah, Southampton, Everton, I'm not sure I'd want to bet on that because Southampton have been doing well. Lampard's giving Everton a boost. Liverpool are going to do Norwich. I think that's a safe enough bet. And I think Chelsea would expect to go to Crystal Palace and win. I do. Brighton could, Brighton, Burnley. Who knows really? But yeah, Brighton could beat Burnley at home. They should want to. They should, obviously be aiming to. Let's not talk about Villa. I reckon Arsenal can beat Brentford.
I totally agree. I think Liverpool, even with the news that Diogo Jota has suffered ankle ligament damage with their forward line now, Salah, Mane, Diaz, who came in January, Roberto Firmino, you fear for Norwich and how much they're going to concede on Saturday. I think you mentioned it earlier, Gary. I think Leeds will beat Man United on Sunday. I think Man United
it's going to be goals. That'll be a belting day. They're
going to be up for it. Leeds will be up for it on Sunday, and I think being on the telly at 2:00, I think this is probably Leeds they're going to be really up for it. I think this is their first home fixture since they got promoted back to the Premier League, where they're quite even with Man United. I think Man United were probably quite strong favourites last season. We had one further comment saying we probably need to average 1.5 points per game to get to Europe. Put another way, every win we get buys us a future loss that becomes more acceptable, ignoring the 6 pointers with Arsenal, West Ham. West Ham will see to themselves, not concerned with them. Guys, before we get your score predictions, just going to have a quick break from our sponsors, Pixel Yeti Media.
Hi all, Gully from Wolves Fancast here, and just like all of you long-suffering Wolves fans, I know exactly what it feels like to be lacking a creative spark here, some outside-of-the-box thinking there, but our sponsors Pixel Yeti Media are here to help. They're a creative agency that cover all of your web design, branding and marketing needs, with our very own wolvesfancast.com, a fine example of their work. So much so that I hear Jeff Shee is looking to do a deal this summer. For now, it's back to the team to ask just where the Diogo Jota money is gone. we may have just had our answer.
There's way too much production for this channel, guys. I'm sorry. I'll come to you first, Tom. Wolves Leicester Sunday, 4:30 on Sky Sports. What's your score prediction? And don't be afraid to jinx us, because earlier on in the season, I predicted Wolves to beat Brentford 4-0.
So we're at home. It's going to be a sellout. I think I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1. I think that we'll go 2-0 up. 1 goal in the first half, 1 goal in the second half, and then Leicester will score 1 in the 85th minute or something like that. And I'm going Jimenez and a Cody header. That's what I'm doing.
Lovely. Love a Cody goal in front of the South Bank. Gary?
Yeah, I was going to say 2-1. I don't know who's going to score. Maybe Jimenez will get another goal,
Hopefully.
Let's hope that Raul can stick the ball in the net again, because, there's been people starting. I mean, what a player he's been for this football club. He's been absolutely outstanding. And with that bash, it's taken him a while. So, let's hope, hopefully he can get in amongst it. He looked tidy, didn't he, against Spurs? Got his goal. So, 2-1, I think, sounds about right. It's a big game, and it's one we definitely should be winning. So, come on, lads.
It was a lovely finish by Jimenez against Spurs because of how much time he had to chest it. I mean, I think the 9 times out of 10, he probably might have been ballooned over the bar, but he found that sort of top corner, and Hugo Lloris gave it the theatrics to make it look even better. Gary mentioned 4-3 earlier. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I think Wolves will win 3-2. Before we close off the show, we're going to have ourselves a little quiz. It's nothing strenuous. You're going to enjoy it, I can promise you. So, quiz round, sponsored by Pixel Yeti Media. The first question, I'm going to take you guys back because it's Gary related. On the 21st of October, 1996, Reef released their platinum selling single, Place Your Hands. 21st of October, 1996. On the 27th of October, which Wolves player scored our winner away to Man City?
Robbie Dennison.
Tom?
Steve Ball.
I think
I was there. It was Steve Ball, 1-0.
You've gone way too hipster there, bringing up Robbie Dennison, Gary. Way too hipster. The correct answer was Steve Ball, and here's the goal now.
And Simons has let it go. Ball could be through here, and is disaster for Manchester City. Kit Simons let ball go, and it reaps full dividends for Steve Ball as he rattles up his 9th goal of the season.
Yeah, I was there. Me and Kenwin went to that. We went up on the train and had a glass of whiskey and enjoyed it. Yeah.
That was my very first away fixture that I remember going to as a child. So 1996, I'd have been 9. Being in that old main road, going up on the coach, that's why everyone thinks Steve Ball's God, because Wolves was probably, I think we were actually battered for about the 90% of that game, and just he gets one opportunity and bosh, 1-0. Yeah. Second question, this is a picture round, so for our audio listeners, as I keep saying, you're going to have to watch us on YouTube. Second question is, who is this Wolves player with? And it's not Gary.
I'm going Wang.
Who's your head over there, Gary? Can you have a guess?
I've absolutely no idea for the life of me who that is. It Podence? I don't know.
Gary, you're looking good though, mate, to be fair, with that Wolves shirt on.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd cut it.
The correct answer, Gary, was Daniel Podence. 1-0, Gary. Oh, no, sorry, 1-0, because Tom got Steve Ball, obviously. Second question is, who's Gary this time?
Oh, I know this. That's Barry Douglas.
I think... don't
say.
Yeah, just don't say. You're going with Cody, Gary. Yeah,
yeah, maybe. Yeah, why not?
Thank God for that, because I didn't have a tie-break question. It was Barry Douglas.
Oh, he scored some good free kicks for us, didn't he?
I've got that poster above my bed on the ceiling. Happy days. Miss you, Barry.
Blimey. That, to be honest, some people have candles and sultry, silky sheets, but Tom's got a Barry Douglas poster on his bedroom ceiling.
It takes all sorts, doesn't it, Dan?
So you got to do what you got to do, as long as it's consensual. Gary, you guys are going out on tour soon, and you've got some new singles out. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, we dropped a single last week called Wolfman, which is quite appropriate. I think that's how we started talking about coming on, isn't it, Dan?
It was, yeah.
There's a video there with Ben Grove doing some skating. It's a bit of fun. And I had a thumbs up from Jody Craddock for it in the week, which was good. What a player he was. A couple of great goals as well he scored, didn't he, for Wolves? A couple of volleys. And we're out on tour in April. We're at the Birmingham Institute. So any Wolves fans want to come and hang out, or be good to see you. Yeah, we're out on tour in April. So we've got a new album coming out. Yeah, good vibes.
Yeah, Shoot Me Your Ace album's out on the 16th of April. 15th?
Sounds right. Yeah, it's about a week into the tour. I think. Yeah, we start on. We're in Newcastle on the 7th, Glasgow. We go up to Manchester, Exeter sold out, Cardiff and London, Leeds, Bristol, Birmingham.
Ibiza, Barcelona.
Yeah, we're off to we do. Yeah,
I've got all this coming in the production in a minute, Gary. Don't stress yourself. I've got it all covered.
Well, I like to be told where I'm going.
How good does it feel, Gary, to be back out on the road after 2 years being locked up?
It's been tough, and it's been tough for everyone. So I don't mind saying it's been tough for me. I mean, not real tough, but it's been a weird couple of years, boys, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure all your listeners, your viewers will think the same. I mean, about half of my income is from live shows, and so that got knocked out. And it was funny actually, because we went up to London and recorded the album the week before lockdown, and I was coming home back to Somerset to watch. I think Wolves were away at West Ham, and that was the first game that got binned. And then the country shut down pretty straight after that. So we've actually had the album. It took us 2 days to record the album, and then 2 years to release it. So it's been the shortest and the longest album that we've ever done. So it was a tough pandemic. I don't think anyone enjoyed it, did they, too much? So it's good to feel like it's opening up a little bit, and maybe people want to come out and have a headbang or have a boogie and have a nice time.
Totally all for that. Hopefully you guys can play Wolverhampton Civic whenever it does actually reopen. I'm not sure where my council taxes have gone in the last however many years with that venue, but we'll leave that for
We've had some belting gigs there. Belting.
Awesome venue, that and the Wolf Front have had some wonderful times at those venues. Tom, thanks for coming on tonight. Hopefully we'll get you on the Wolves Fancast again. Gary, likewise. As always, thanks to our main sponsors, 90min.com and Pixel Yeti Media. We're going to play you out with Wolfman by Reef and take a look for all the gig venues that they're coming up at. And we'll see you hopefully Sunday evening or Monday with a podcast to review, hopefully a Leicester win. Take care, guys.
So I'm a wolf man. What do you say?